So friends, today's topic is a very interesting topic, self-talk. And what I request you to is give your utmost attention to, because there's a lot of theory, a lot of talks, a lot of quotations. So I want your full attention. And uh, most of the talk is based on the teachings of Neville Goddard. So a lot of places I used exactly his quote or his the language, the kind of language he uses. So all the more I need your attention. So here you can see on the slide, so which I have covered this slide in the earlier presentations. So this you can see that 5% is the conscious mind and 95% is the subconscious mind. So 5% is what is visible, that is our conscious mind, but actually 95% of what we are is a subconscious mind. And 5% represents our creative mind, our free will, but 95% is our autonomic response, or is our hardwired beliefs, conditioned response, our acquired behaviors over a period of time, our attitudes, perceptions. It is a sum total of all our experience of our past. So this is like a record playback. And this 5% is represented by the mind, and 95% is represented by the body. 5% represents our thoughts, but the 95% represents our feelings. So something happens in your life and you automatically feel, right? So friends, in the context of our self-talk, our self-talk is mainly originating from this 95%, from a subconscious mind, right? So the conscious mind, what happens is what has happened in our life, the conscious mind generates ideas and impresses these ideas on the subconscious mind through the medium of feelings. Again, I repeat, the conscious mind generates ideas and impresses these ideas on the subconscious through the medium of feelings. So no ideas can be impressed on the subconscious unless it is felt, right? So it is only so the subconscious only stores what our conscious mind feels. If it is not felt, then the subconscious does not store, right? So but once felt, the subconscious mind accepts that idea without any judgment. So but once felt, the subconscious mind accepts that ideas without any judgment, and no ideas can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt, right? So the ideas may be good, bad, whatever it is, the subconscious is indifferent and accept it as truth. The subconscious mind does not judge it. It just accepts it as truth and will store that idea. So feeling is the one and the only medium through which ideas are sown into the subconscious. The subconscious is the womb of creation. Once the subconscious is impregnated with the idea it gives, when the subconscious is impregnated with the idea transmitted from the conscious mind through the means of the feeling, then the subconscious gives form and expression to them. So what is impressed shall be expressed in our life. So our subconscious mind is like a fertile land, and we reap what we sow. So the subconscious mind is the realm of the cause. And then the third dimensional reality, our physical world or objective world, is the effect. So whatever is stored in a subconscious mind, whatever ideas which is impressed on a subconscious mind through the means of the feeling shall be expressed in our life. So the truth is, it's not a cause outside and having an effect inside. The truth is we are causing the effect. Right? So the subconscious is the realm of cause, and the third dimensional reality is the effect. So you are causing the effect. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening from you. And friends, we have normally 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, right? And 95% of these thoughts is coming from a past. It is coming from the past which is stored in a subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind represents our past. So 95% is coming from the past. and most of the thoughts we do not express it verbally, right? So most of the thoughts goes as self talk, as an internal communication, as a internal speech, the internal conversation which we have with ourselves, the internal dialogue that we have it with ourselves. That represents the 60 to 70 that represents the 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, and depends on the kind of dialogue we have, depends the kind of self-talk we have it reflects through the means of feelings. It is transported, it is reflected in our feelings, and what we feel is what affects our vibration, right? So what we are is a vibrational being, we are an energy being, we are a vibrational being, and every thought, every inner dialogue we have, every self-talk we have has an emotional charge, has uh, has a frequency and vibration. So if it is of a higher frequency of vibration, it will impact our overall vibrancy, frequency and vibration. If it is a higher, if it is a lower frequency and vibration, then it will reduce our frequency and vibration. So it is carries an emotional charge, and that's how it is transcended into feelings. And friends, 90% of our energy is consumed by these old thoughts, because they are not actually, they are becoming a roadblocks, and we are not able to harness the full energy, because 90% of the energy is consumed by these thoughts. And that's why the moment we become aware of these thoughts, and the moment we unmemorize these emotions related to these thoughts, we liberate so much of energy, and the same energy is now available to create a new future. So friends, first we make our habits, and then these habits make us, because these thoughts over a period of time becomes hardwired in our brain, right? You know the principle of neuroscience, the nerve cells that fire together wire together. So as we have a repeated thought patterns, as we keep repeating the similar self talks, or the same conversation with ourselves, slowly it becomes hardwired into a brain. And the moment it becomes hardwired into a brain, now it that means it is a belief system. A belief is nothing but a repeated conversation, the repeated whatever the most practiced thoughts are our beliefs, right? So to really make a change, we need to change, we need to learn to change, we have to break the habit of being ourselves, right? So that means to really change means we have to really change means a biological, neurological, chemical, hormonal, addictive death of our old self, because we need to die at so many levels, and that's why change is so challenging. And 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 the more we become aware, the more we realize that, oh, this is not a beneficial thought, or this is what we need to change. But most of the time we are unconscious, we are not even aware of these thoughts, and we are just unconsciously thinking the same thoughts. And that's why we are not changing, because we don't even realize what we are thinking. We have become so identified, we have become so one with the thought. So to really make a change, first we have to first observe the thoughts. Only when we observe it, then we become separate from the thought, and then those thoughts loses its intensity, right? So it's our choice. Either we can be host to our future, or hostage to our past, through these repeated thoughts and emotions. So in context of now inner talk, so talking to oneself is a habit that we all indulge. We all know that so many times any issue happens in our life, and we realize that we are just talking to ourselves, right? We have a fight with somebody, or we have some kind of frustration or anger, because of the social conditioning. Sometimes it is not appropriate to express it verbally, but the more we do not express it, the more we have a self talk going on in our mind, right? So, and we all can relate with it, and we cannot stop talking. But what we can do, but the choice what we have, The free will that we have is that we can control the nature and the direction of our inner conversations. Most of us are totally unaware of the fact that our inner conversations are actually the cause of circumstances of our life. Because these inner conversations are turned into feelings. And then what you feel is what you bring about, right? So we become through these inner conversations, we become what we think about whole day long. Every inner thought or conversation shifts our vibration and energy, right? If the thought is a higher vibration, we are vibrating at a higher frequency. If the thought is a lower vibration, we are vibrating at a lower frequency. And most of our subconscious, through our subconscious, we are hardwired into old limited emotions, limited thoughts. The only way to actually to transcend these thoughts or to overcome these thoughts is to override it with a higher emotion, with a thought of higher vibration or a thought of higher energy. Einstein said, you cannot change. You cannot change from the same level of mind. You cannot bring change from the same level of mind which created it. So to really make a change, we need to think the thought of higher vibration, a thought of higher energy or a higher frequency, so that it can override the thought of lower emotion and a lower frequency, right? So we have to be, so first is key is awareness. So we have to be selective of our inner thoughts. Whatever your thoughts goes, wherever your thought goes, our energy flows, right? Wherever your thought goes, your energy flows. And our attention feeds the energy, right? So through our attention to those thoughts, we feed those thoughts. And wherever thought goes, energy flows. So an energy is the currency of the universe. With our attention, we buy that experience, right? Because whatever we focus on, it expands, and we draw more of that into our life. We see the more of that. We see the more evidence of that drawing into our life or coming into our life. So, friends, what is more important? Energy management is more important than time management, right? So most of the time we learn about in management schools, we all learn about time management in our schools, in our colleges, in our all the MBA courses. We all learn about time management. Nobody talks about energy management. But the truth is, energy management is more important than time management, because it's not about what you're doing. It's about your state of being while you're doing what you're doing. So your state of being is your consciousness, and the truth is it's the consciousness which creates, right? So we have to be first, we have to be in the right state of being, and then you should be doing what you're doing. The more you do it, the more you're doing from a wrong state of being, the more will manifest wrongs in our life. So first we have to focus on the right state of being. And, and as I told you, so with our attention, you buy that experience in your life. So wherever with our inner thoughts, with our inner feelings, with our inner talk, with our inner conversation, you are drawing your attention to the things which you are manifesting in your life. And that is what, because that, when you're conversing inside, when you inner talk, your subconscious accepts it as a reality. And then that is projected outward to the conscious world, and that is what you draw into your life. And that is what you draw into your life. So so like uh, so like energy and consciousness, our thoughts, our inner conversations, our imaginations and feelings are all intertwined and interconnected with each other. Again, I repeat, our like energy and consciousness, our thoughts, our inner conversations, our imagination, and our feelings are all intertwined and interconnected. Our every inner conversation carries an emotional charge, and it converts it into feelings, right? So everything is a manifestation of the mental conversation which goes on in us without our awareness, and we unconsciously act on the basis of such inner talking. Because eventually it becomes our beliefs, right? Because this, with a repeated inner conversation, it turns into our beliefs, and then our beliefs drives our behavior. So before we attempt to change the world, we must first change our inner talking. The only way out is in, and our belief is nothing but the most practiced inner conversation. So our thinking always follows the tracks laid down in a conversation. Whatever is the inner conversation is, most of the time, whatever is the inner conversation is about, that's what you feel, and the same feelings which will sponsor the similar thinking, and then we are in a loop. So it is very important to be aware of your inner conversation. It's an inner talk, because that is very powerful. So I'll go a little more deep about the inner talk now. So friends, we have, as a human being, we are a very lucky creature or a lucky species, and we are a unique species to have two unique gifts to us, which is only to the human beings or to the mankind. So these two unique gifts, which is only to the human beings, is the mind, the gift of mind, and the gift of speech. Now, I'll break down into two things: what is mind and what is speech. So, mind, as I told you before in the earlier slides, mind has two parts. One is conscious mind and the subconscious mind, right? So, whatever in form of mind and speech, how we use these two gifts as mind and speech will be reflected in our outer world. And it doesn't matter whether you're an Indian or an American or a French or a Chinese. We all have the same gifts. We all have the same gifts. We all have the same gifts of mind and speech, right? So now here I want to show you the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is personal, right? In the earlier slides also I showed you the conscious mind is objective, but the subconscious mind is subjective. Whatever the conscious mind, whatever the ideas the conscious mind impresses on the subconscious mind through the means of the feeling, the subconscious mind will believe it to be true. It has no judgment. It has no faculty of judgment. Like like a like an honest wife or like an honest spouse, the subconscious mind just takes it to be true, right? Like how a faithful wife, whatever is the husband tells the faithful wife, will just believe it to be true. The same way is the subconscious mind. Whatever is the conscious mind impresses on the subconscious mind through the means of the feeling, it will take it to be true. I'm repeating, to the means of the feeling. The only way the conscious mind can impress anything on the subconscious mind is through the means of the feeling. If you're not feeling it, then it is not impressed on the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is personal, the subconscious mind is impersonal. The conscious mind is selective, the subconscious mind is non-selective. The conscious mind has a free will. It can choose what it wants to think, what it does not want to think, how it wants to behave, how it does not want to behave. But the subconscious mind is non-selective. Whatever is the conscious mind impresses it on subconscious, it will accept it the way it is. The conscious mind is male and the subconscious mind is female, right? So I'll explain you more about the male and the female part. The conscious mind is male and the subconscious mind is female. The conscious mind is Shiva and the subconscious mind is Shakti. So the subconscious mind is the womb of creation, right? That's why it's called Shakti. That's why it's female. It is a womb of creation. Whatever thoughts are sowed into the subconscious mind by the conscious mind, whatever ideas are sown into the subconscious mind, the subconscious mind acts it as true, and it is whatever thoughts are impregnated into a subconscious mind, it will germinate. The subconscious mind will give germination to those ideas, and it eventually it becomes a tree. So that is what our life is. Our life is reflected by the expression uh, of a subconscious mind. Whatever has been impressed on our subconscious mind by our conscious mind, by the means of the feelings, by the uh, through the ideas which is impressed on the subconscious mind, uh, through the feelings will be expressed by the subconscious mind, right? So that's why the subconscious mind is Shiva, and the conscious mind is Shiva, and the subconscious mind is Shakti. The conscious mind is can be both creator, sustainer, and destroyer. But the subconscious mind is, is like a Shakti which only gives form, which only gives shape to whatever has been impressed on the subconscious mind. So I hope you all are clear. So this is the mind, and now I'll focus on the speech part. The speech part is again two. One is the outer speech and the inner speech. Outer speech, we all know, is what we talk, what is being heard, and but the inner speech is something which we only talk to ourselves, which is not which nobody can hear, right? Which the others cannot hear. But here we are going to focus today on inner speech, because in the view of manifestation, a lot of time we focus on so many things, so many of techniques, but we lose our focus on our inner speech, and we think that since nobody is hearing and we are not giving but we are not giving, we think that we are not giving physical expression of that inner talk or that inner speech, so it doesn't matter. And that's why today I thought I'll cover this topic in detail. So friends, our outer speech, most of the time whatever we talk in the outer speech is in a form, is when we are in a beta brainwaves, right? We are connected to the three-dimensional reality. Our eyes are open, we are talking, we are chatting, we are sometimes laughing, shouting, smiling, whatever, or whatever we do the outer speech. But the inner speech is something which we do with ourselves. It is in silence, right? So, but this inner speech is the key. If we use it wisely and creatively, in Bible it says, if you use our inner speech wisely and creatively, then the whole world is yours. So, what does it mean by the inner speech? Because the inner speech is the speech which we actually, where we where we are in an alpha state of mind. And that's why when we talk, whatever the inner speech, it directly communicates with the subconscious mind, and then that's why it is much more powerful. So many times the outer speech, we do camouflage our feelings, right? We may suppose we meet a new person, and we say, oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, or lovely meeting you, so nice to meet you. uh, but but in the mind, maybe we are thinking, how funny is this person? Oh, he's a jerk. What a waste of my time. I don't like this person. So so in the conscious mind, you may be saying whatever you may be saying. So the conscious mind, most of the time, a lot of times, the feeling, there's a disconnect between the feeling and what you're expressing. But in your inner speech, in the outer speech, there could be a disconnect between your thoughts, between your words you're expressing and your feelings. But when you're doing whatever is your inner speech, it is absolutely connected to your inner feeling. Because you don't want to lie to yourself, and you inner speech is exactly the reproduction of whatever is resonating with your feeling, right? And and the and in the Bible it says that if the man learns if the man learns how to use his inner feelings, and to direct his inner feelings to his benefits, to in the direction of his fulfilled wish, in the direction of the wish which he wants to fulfill, then there's no difference. Then he will be God. There's no difference between God and him, because all gods were men who became gods. Whether we call it Buddha or Krishna or Jesus or Prophet or Guru Nanak, they're all men who turn into saints, or the accomplished beings, or the liberated ones, or the ones who attain salvation. But they learned how to use the inner conversation, in the inner dialect, the inner speech, in the direction of truth, in the direction of love, right? So, and that's how they turn into God. So friends, um, uh, so if so here so if we understand the power of our inner speech, the power of our thoughts, our emotions and feelings, and use it correctly, we are no different from the gods. We are all gods. We are all sleeping Buddhas. We are all we are all potential Christ. It's just that we need to awaken ourselves. We need to become more aware of ourselves. We need to become more aware of our own power. We are all co-creators, right? We are all spiritual beings, came here to have a human experience. And the truth is, and that's why the truth is, in the scripture it's all written, we are all gods. Aham Brahmasmi. But the truth is, we stop believing. We believe that the God is outside of us. In fact, most people do not have a problem in believing in God, but we have a problem in believing that we are gods, because we undermine our own power, right? But the truth is, we are all co-creators, whether consciously or unconsciously. We are co-creating a reality. We create our own reality. So, so the outer does. As I was telling you, the outer speech does not necessarily conform to our inner feelings. And the truth is, the God does not see the outer speech, or the God or the universe or the higher intelligence does not see the outer speech, but what they really see is your inner speech, because they only recognizes what feelings do you correspond to those speech. So whatever is your inner speech, most you are naturally corresponding your feelings to the inner speech, and that's why your inner speech is always registered by the mind of God, and that is why and the God matches it, or the universe or the quantum field matches the same vibrational frequency, and because it believes it to be true, and it believes that that is what you want in your life, and it vibrationally matches it in the form of your physical reality, right? So every inner speech is actually an affirmation to ourselves, because we're in an alpha state, and when you're in an alpha state, your subconscious is not impersonal, it is non-selective, it accepts it to be true, there is no resistance. So many times whatever we're speaking need not be outwardly what you're speaking, your subconscious mind rejects it because it may not believe it to be true. But whatever your inner speech, the subconscious mind genuinely believes it to be true, and because it believes it to be true, there's no resistance, and it accepts it. It believes that it is very genuine. Whatever is your inner talk is very genuine, and it believes it to be true, and it immediately and instantly you express it in form of feeling, and that's how it is that's how that it is frozen. That's why whatever is an inner speech, through the means of the feeling or through the medium of a feeling, is frozen as an outside world. The moment you feel it, the inner speech, and then you feel it, it is you freeze the outside world, and it will be expressed. Whatever is impressed to your inner through the means of your inner speech will be expressed in the outside world. So control your inner conversations during the day. So first thing is to be aware and see whether it is in the direction of truth, whether it is in the direction of the reality which you want to create in your life. Stop and ask yourself time and again, what am I thinking now? Time and again, ask yourself. The more conscious are you of the unconscious, the less unconscious you will go during the course of the day. So become the consciousness observing the program. Become the consciousness observing the inner speech, your inner dialect, the inner conversation with yourself. Your conversation with yourself is in true sense is the conversation with God, because that is what you are creating. As God is always a creator, so are you, God, in form of inner conversation. You are creating that in your life. So observe what you are doing from the inside, for that is what God sees. The whole vast, the whole vast manifested world is a solidified speech. Again, I'll repeat. The whole vast manifested world is a solidified speech, the inner speech. The outside mirrors the inside. Always. That's the law. The outside mirrors the inside. As within, so without. What you see outside actually are the contents of your consciousness. Again, I'll repeat. What you see outside are the contents of your consciousness. Your world in every detail, your world in every detail is your consciousness objectified. Right? Again, I'll repeat. Your world in every detail is your consciousness objectified. So that's why it is very important to confirm your inner speech in the direction of your wishes fulfilled. So whatever the wishes that you want to fulfill in your life, whatever is your dreams, your aspirations, your desires, your creative thinking, your goals, let your inner speech should be in that direction. What sentence will apply? Remind yourself. Look, be aware of yourself, what you are thinking. So what sentence? Just ask yourself or check yourself that what sentence will apply what you are now. What sentence of your inner speech is implying what you are now, what you would like to be. So whatever you would like to be, make sure that your inner speech is exactly conversing that sentence to you. Right? So whatever you would like to be that. So you don't need that does not so that necessarily means that you are not bound by the external conditions. You don't need to focus on the external condition outside to determine your inner speech. If you keep your focus on what you want to be, whatever you would like to be, and use your inner speech in that direction, use your vivid imagination in that direction, uh, 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 and then things will manifest in that direction. Right? So as I told you, two unique gifts of the mind, human beings, as mind and speech. So mind also represents imagination. So here in this context, I'll be talking mind. I'll be on and off talking about imagination and the inner speech. So the best gift given to the mankind is of imagination and is of inner speech. That is the gift that we have. So confirm your inner speech in the direction of your wishes fulfilled. Right? So so suppose you have a example, you want to have a good relationship with somebody, and you are not having or you want somebody to do your work. So rather than, most of the times we think that, oh, this person is like that, I doubt whether he'll do my work. Or so, but if you want the person to do your work, so then visualize and imagine as if the visualize a positive response from that person. See that he has already done your work. And how would you feel if he has already done your work? So see that, see yourself talking to him, or he talking to you. Okay, great, I have done your work. This is your work. As if, so suppose you want to get a work done from the government officer, he wants you to sign some papers. So see, or to sign some order. So see that he has signed this order, he's smiling at you, and then you are saying thank you to that person. You're feeling that gratitude. So see it in your mind. So whatever is your vivid imagination and whatever is your inner thoughts in that direction, you will draw that event in your life. Because when you are, whatever is your vivid thoughts, whatever is your secret conversation with yourself, you are actually communicating through your, it is a subconscious communicating you are doing with that person's subconscious mind directly, without even consciously knowing that person, you are actually communicating with the subconscious mind of that person. Is the telepathic communication which is happening with that person, and that person, without even his conscious knowing, will actually respond to your telepathic communication. It is whatever you have planted in the mind of in the subconscious mind of the person, the person will behave his behavior. You will evoke that behavior from that person, right? So 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 it says that the best use of imagination is creativity, and the worst use of imagination is anxiety. Again, I'll repeat, the best use of imagination is creativity, and the worst use of imagination is anxiety. So, friends, we have a choice. We have been given this gift of mind, which is imagination. Now, we want to use it in the direction of a creative thinking, in the direction of our fulfilling our wishes, direction of our wishes fulfilled, or you want to use it in the direction of the probability of failure, or worry. Like worry is using an imagination in the direction of the failed outcome, because you try to speculate the outcome, which is the worst outcome, and then by doing that, you are actually increasing the probability of that outcome. So the best use of imagination is creativity, and the worst use of imagination is anxiety. And uh, and that's why positive affirmation is so important, because when you are affirming, when you are in mentally affirming, it is directly communicating, it is directly planting that affirmation into your subconscious mind. So suppose you want abundance in your life, suppose you want wealth in your life. So rather than focus, but you are going through some challenging situation, or financially difficult situation in your life. So rather than focusing, or rather than in a conversation having about your current situation in your life, or the current challenges you're facing in your life, you can change it by the use of affirmation. You can actually to use it in the direction of abundance. So for example, you can give yourself in one of his big, Neville Goddard says that he was using this affirmation, and that's how he draw a lot of abundance in his life. He said, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Again, I'll repeat. He started affirming, and he started having his own conversation with himself, and seeing that as if it's true. He saw that he has a lot of abundance, he has a lot of money flowing into a life. So he used this affirmation: I have a lavish, steady, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. I have a lavish, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. And then, and when he started believing that, and when he started using these affirmations, that is how he started seeing the effects in his life. He started things changing in his life. He was not having a good relationship with his brother, and he realized that he wanted to transfer, and he had a lot of anger towards his brother. But then he realized that this is not serving in the direction of his dream, or of his desire, or his destiny. So he started seeing as if he has a great relationship with his brother. And all of a sudden he found that one fine day his brother called him up, and he patched up, and they had turned into a great relationship. And this brother gave a major amount of his fortune to Neville Goddard. So, and he was affirming that I have a lavish, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. So without much efforts, he draws so much of abundance in his life. So he said your inner conversation is so important, because subconsciously you are evoking that response in the other person. You are influencing that other person. So through that, you have control over the mind of others, over the behavior of others. So friends, stop spending your thoughts. He says, stop spending your thoughts time, and money. Everything in your life must be an investment, right? So stop spending your thoughts, time, and money. Everything in your life must be an investment. To spend means there is no hope of return or to waste, right? To spend means there is no hope of return or you are wasting, maybe in form of thought, time, or money. But to invest means expecting a return on your equity, right? So that's why time must produce some return. Whichever way you're using your time, it must produce some return. Your time is so precious. So just whenever you're using your time, just think, what is the return on my time? Am I wasting my time? Am I spending my time? Or I'm investing my time? Same way with your thoughts. Your thought is an inner speech, right? So it should be actually invested and not wasted. So with money, it should be invested and not wasted. So everything, whether it is your thoughts, time, or money, should be actually invested and not wasted. So always be aware whether it is thoughts, time, and money. Are you wasting it or are you investing it? Right? So everything should be actually invested and not wasted. So, friends, a lot of times we go round and round in circle of disappointments and misfortune, not seeing them that it is caused by our own inner talking and instead blaming others, right? So we think others are responsible for my problems, but when we blame others, we actually keep the wound open. And the more the wound is open, the more we evoke the inner conversation in the direction of which is of lower vibration, which is of lower energy, because now we are blaming others. We think that this person is responsible. We have anger, we have hurt, we have frustration, we have resentment, we have a grievance towards that person. And the more we feel that, the more we draw the situation in our life, because we are the grievance looking for a cause. The more we feel it, the more we talk, think, the more we have that inner conversation, the more we feel it, and the more we draw that event into our life. The more we find, the more of that evidence of that situation into our life, because our thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. Thoughts send the signal out, but it is the feelings which draw the event back into your life, right? So that is how the law of that is how the manifestation works. This is how thoughts turn into things. So others, the truth is, the others only echo what we whisper to them in secret. I'll again repeat, others only echo what we whisper to them in secret. So they are only the reflection of our inner conversation. They are only mirroring what is your inner conversation with yourself. So your events and relationship of your life is your inner words or your inner world made visible. Your events and relationships of your life is your inner word or your inner world made visible outside. And most of us rob others of their willingness and their ability to be kind and generous towards yourself because of your fixed mental attitude towards them. Because whatever we think about themselves, we are evoking that response in them, right? So we actually steal themselves of their energy to be loving and kind towards you, because we are feeling resentful or anger or guilt, and we are and that's how our expectancy determines our outcome. So we have control over the behavior of others. We have control over the behavior of others as it relates to us, as our inner conversation and vibration is evoking the corresponding behavior in them. I'll repeat, we have control You have control over the behavior of others as it relates to you, because your inner conversation and vibration is evoking the corresponding behavior in them. So if you use that, your inner conversation, which transcend into feelings, which in turn transcend into your vibration, if you use it creatively, you can really enjoy. You can really enjoy your relationships. You can, or the events in your life. You can get the thrill of your life. And the beauty is, it does not take too much time. The moment you become aware of it, and the moment you start changing inner conversation, you will start more of that evidence matching that inner conversation in your life. And it's such a thrill, it's such a joy. And I've experimented it myself. And then things start turning like a magic. And the more start thing turning like a magic, the more you enjoy the game, the more you enjoy the process. And the more you started believing in your inner conversation, the more you started, more you know the power of your inner conversation. And the more you will use it in the direction of your truth, in the direction of your wishes fulfilled. Again, I repeat, the best use of imagination is creativity, and the worst use of imagination is anxiety. We suffer more in imagination. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality, right? The suffering, we suffer not because of the situation, but actually because of our thoughts around it. Whatever of our inner thoughts, your inner conviction around that situation, that leads to suffering. Buddha said pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. We do not die from this, nobody dies from the snake bite, but the venom which spreads because of the snake bite. And most of the time, the snake is non-venomous, but because we believe that the venom is spreading, because of the fear, we die because of that. So it is the placebo effect or the nocebo effect. The placebo effect is the positive effect of your inner thoughts or of your inner feelings. So Joe Dispenza wrote the book, You Are the Placebo. So actually we are the placebo. Whatever is your inner thoughts and feelings has a placebo effect on our feelings, and we believe it to be true. And that's how our beliefs drive our behaviors. If we have an inner thought, in a negative inner thoughts or negative inner conversations, then we have a nocebo effect. It has a negative effect in our life, because then that is what we draw that situation more into our life. So it's our choice between a placebo effect or the nocebo effect. So that's why Buddha said pain is inevitable, but the suffering is optional, right? Uh, nobody can make you. The truth is, nobody can make you unhappy without your consent. Only through your inner conversation, you give your consent to that situation, and then you suffer. Then you are unhappy. When Dad said there are no justified resentments. It is your inner conversation which makes you believe it to be true, and that's why you feel that resentment is so justified. But if you are aware of it and you instantly change your inner conversation, you know, then there are no justified resentments. Our inner conversations are perpetually outpictured all around us in our happenings. I'll repeat, our inner conversations are perpetually outpictured all around us in our happenings. Every time you think about the negative event from the past, your body produces the same chemicals as when it happened. Right? Every time you think about the negative emotion from the past, your body reproduces the same chemical as when it happened in the past. That means you relive the same experience. You relive the same experience simply because maybe you relive the same experience 100 times, simply because you haven't let it go. So stop turning on your mental and emotional television to watch the same program over and over again. Right? Through our inner conversation, through our imagination, we are seeing, we are switching on the mental conversation, we are the mental television, and watching the same program over and over again. So that's why we need to control. The first thing is to be aware. Awareness is the biggest agent for change. First time is to first to become conscious and become aware of your inner conversation, and then we can control in our conversation your inner, and then the controlled inner conversation is the way to transform what we want to see and hear in the outward world. Again, I'll repeat, the controlled inner conversation is the way to transform what we want to see and hear in the outward world. So that's why it is our free will. It is it is our free will. So never entertain an undesirable feeling, nor think, never entertain an undesirable feeling, nor think sympathetically of any wrong, be it any shape or form. Never entertain an undesirable feeling, nor think sympathetically of any wrong, be it any shape or form. Do not dwell, do not dwell on the imperfections of yours or others. In fact, use the positive aspects of each other to tune into your inner conversations. What you appreciates. Whatever you focus on expands. So why not catch others doing right than doing wrong? Why not catch yourself doing right than doing wrong? So use the positive aspects of each other to tune into your inner conversations. Do not feel what you do not want to be done unto you or to others. This is written in the Bible. Do not feel what you do not want to be done unto you or to others. So that's why, friends, don't waste even one moment in regret or guilt. For to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Again, I'll repeat. Do not think even for a moment in regret or of guilt. For to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is actually to reinfect yourself. Every guilt is a fresh blunder. So let the dead bury the dead. Do not entertain the inner talks of regret, mistakes, or failures. There are no failures, only lessons. So you friends, so you can't get to where you want to go by mostly aware of where you don't want to be or what's missing in your life. What happens is whenever we are placed with any problem and situation, it draws so much of our attention and energy, and then we give, and with whatever with our attention we feed it, right? So the more you focus on the problem, the more you draw the problem into your life. So that's why we need to turn our attention from problem to the solution, right? So that's why withdraw. That's why I'm saying you cannot get to where you want to go by mostly aware or where you don't want to be, or by mostly aware of what's missing in my life. So withdraw your attention from your inner thoughts of what's troubling you most. What you resist, you persist. What you fight, you strengthen. If you fight your poverty, you will strengthen, you'll draw more of your poverty. If you fight your failure, you'll draw more of the failures. If you fight a disharmonious relationship, you will draw more of the disharmonious relationship. So that's why you need to be focused on solution, not on the problem. If you have a disharmonious relationship, don't focus on the disharmonious relationship. Focus on the harmonious relationship which you would like to be. Focus on the end result. Focus on imagine the end result. And the more you have the inner conversation in the direction of your own the end result of that positive relationship, the more you imagine it to be like that, the more your inner conversation becomes like that, then that's how you change the relationship in your life. So, and this is the law. This is the law on which your whole life exists. What you focus on expands. So that's why you have to reach for better feeling, better inner conversation, thought by thought, moment by moment. And so that's why what you feel about, you bring about. And this is the law on which your whole life exists. Everything else is just commentary. Everything else is just commentary. A change of feeling is a change of destiny. And how you change your feeling is through your imagination, through your inner conversation. A change of feeling is a change of destiny.
Friends, any of y'all have any questions, or you all want him to clarify anything? Can just either raise your hand or post the question. If not, otherwise we will be good.
Hope it's not too heavy. I don't know, how is it going?
No, it's going well. People have been asking for affirmations that we've been using, which I've
somebody
been
said
posting.
it's intense but good. Yeah, so I know it's quite intense, but thank you for your attention. Thank you for your commitment to change and transform and hear it with so much of attention. So friends, through outer conversation we can camouflage, right? And we can fool people, we can fool others, but the inner conversation, you cannot fool yourself, you can't fool your God, because the God sees into the very depth of your being, and the world is built, and your world is built on this inner conversation. The God doesn't see the outer conversation, it will always focus on your inner conversation, because God only recognizes your feeling, and it is the inner conversation which is one with your feelings. The only one that matters sees you every moment of the time is God, and that's your Father. Me and my Father are one. In the Bible, Jesus says, "Me and my Father are one." So the Father knows exactly what you're feeling, what is your inner conversation. So you cannot fool your Father, right? So you can alter your life if you can change your inner conversation. Your inner conversation is happening all day long, from your morning to your noon to your night, and then all day long your inner conversation is happening, and then you even take it to your dreams, right? And even in your dreams you're still talking, subconsciously you're still talking. So your inner conversation is going on all through the long day and night. You cannot fool the God. You cannot fool the cosmic intelligence, or the higher intelligence, or the quantum field. And then that is what is impressed is what is being expressed in the outer world. Your whole vast world is this inner conversation pushed out. Again, I'll repeat. Your whole vast world is this inner conversation pushed out. For what you own must come to you. Once you own your inner conversation, every time any inner conversation is owned by you through your feelings. And what you own must come to you. What you want is wanting you. Right? So, and you can change it. The beauty is you can change it. You can change what you want, and you can change it only by changing this inner conversation, because your inner conversation is equated to your very nature. The moment you change your inner conversation, you're changing your very nature, because your inner conversation has become your nature. Over a period of repeated same patterns of inner conversation, the same direction of inner conversation, that has become your true nature. So by inner conversation, you're actually changing your nature, your beliefs, your attitudes. So friends, as I told you, everyone is a sleeping Buddha. Everyone wants to move. Everyone wants to move we came as a human experience to move in the direction, in the fulfillment, towards the achievement of enlightenment, or seeking salvation, or to become God himself. So everyone is moving towards the fulfillment of being God himself. So, but the truth is, the only way we can become God, once we recognize the inner conversation. And once we change the direction of your inner conversation, the whole world is yours with every content in it. So in true sense, we are God because we are creating our world, and we can rechange, we can rearrange the world around us through our inner conversation. Before you go to bed in the night, watch your inner conversation. Carry on your inner conversation as if your wishes are fulfilled. Let it be the thing of love, what you love. You really love your inner conversation in the direction of your truth, in the direction of your wishes fulfilled, right? And your last thoughts will dominate the dream of the night. You will see it through the medium of your dreams and your visions. Your whole vast world is your inner conversation pushed out. So I will talk more about the sleep and the dreams and your inner conversation in terms of your sleep in the chapter later, where in the slides later where I'll talk more about the sleep. So I'll move ahead now. So friends, your last, so a lot of times we try to justify ourselves. We try to fight for your limitations, and if you fight for your limitations, you got to keep it, because the more you fight for your limitations, the same your inner conversion is the direction of your limitations, and that's the more you limit yourself. So uh, so carry on. So carry your inner conversation as if your wishes are fulfilled, in the direction of your wishes fulfilled. The more you try to justify yourself about your limitations, the more you limit yourself into your life. The more you manifest limitations in your life, and you will see it in form of distractions, in form of roadblocks into your desires, in your dreams, in your aspirations in your life, and your life will be filled of more of challenges, right? So sorry. So friends, use so you always don't have to be right. Sometimes you're wrong, so admit it that you're wrong. A mistake is not a mistake if it is admitted as a mistake. It's fine to be wrong. Sometimes we all go wrong, we all make mistakes. They are so, but the moment we learn the lessons from the mistakes, we move on. But if we do justify our mistakes, then that's another mistake. And then our inner conversations keep justifying it, and we do not change our reality.
Shreans, can you repeat that? Please clarify what you mean by justifying ourselves.
So friends, we all make mistakes. We are all human beings, so we all make mistakes. But the moment we try to start justifying our mistakes, so our inner conversation is also in direction of justifying our mistake, which is a limited behavior, which is a limited expression of ourselves. And the more you justify a limited expression, the more you give expression to that in your life in form of challenges and roadblocks in our life, in form of adversities in our life, in form of contrasting situations in our life. But the moment you admit your mistake, you release that mistake, you free from that, you energetically you weaken that energy of that mistake, and then you're ready for the change, you're ready for the transformation. So it's okay to be wrong. So in our life, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to not to self justify yourself all the time, right? So use your gifts of mind and inner speech wisely. Don't use it. Trying to justify your wrong is using it unwisely. And most of the time, because of today, we have social media, we have so many distractions, right? And we read so many news. Whatever we read it, we feed it in our mind. We see the morning headlines of disaster, then that's the inner dialogue. If we are reading the morning headlines of disaster, then that's our inner dialogue. And most of the news are actually negative news. Nobody talks about, oh, an old man was being held by somebody crossing the road. That's no news, right? Only bad news is the good news, because because that is what people want. That is what it feeds. It's the subconsciously, that is the news which feeds our emotions, right? So be aware of what is the news which you're reading, what is the social media, what is your feeding yourself in the mind through your social media. So and whatever you read it, actually that's our inner dialogue which is happening in our mind. That's the world which we are creating for ourselves, because inwardly you're repeating what you're reading. Whatever you're outwardly reading, you're actually inwardly repeating it in your mind. So that's your inner conversation happening in your mind. And your subconscious mind does not is impersonal, it is non-selective, and it takes it to be true. And that is what is expressed in your life. So that's why it is very important to feed the right news. So your energy is the currency of the universe. Wherever you place your attention, you place your energy. All situations are fundamentally neutral. You through your observation, you assign meaning to it, right or wrong, good or bad. And whatever the meaning you assign, you that's how you invite that reality into your life, right? So be focus of your attention. Wherever your attention goes, your inner conversation is in that direction. Remember, always ask yourself, is this news evolving me? Is it in the direction of my truth, or is it in the direction of evolution? If it does not involve me, if it does not evolve me, it does not involve me. Again, I'll repeat. If it does not evolve me, it does not involve me. Don't involve yourself into those informations or those news. So the observer, so that's why it is our choice. Through our inner conversation, we are actually observing that news. Through attention, we are actually observing that news. The more we observe it, the more we'll draw that into our reality. The observer affects what is being observed, right? We have seen in the earlier modules the principle, the experiments of quantum science, where we saw the double slit experiment, where we know it is the observer, it affects what is being observed. By our observation, by inner conversation, we collapse the waves of possibility and turn it into matter, and draw that into our life. We objectify, we solidify that waves of possibilities into matter. So your subjective mind has an impact on the objective world. Your subjective mind has an impact on the objective world. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So in the example of Neville Goddard, he had a bad relationship with his brother. The moment in his subconscious mind, or in his inner dialogue, he changed the relationship with his brother. He saw his brother hugging him, accepting him the way he is, and he accepting his brother the way he is, and see that the brother is hugging him, giving him love, and they are sitting together, they are having a fun time together, and he is feeling that fun of being with his brother together and enjoying the togetherness. And when he started seeing in his mind, magically the relationship with his brother changed, and his brother himself called him and mend the relationship. And as I told you, in fact, gave major part of his fortune, he gave it to Neville Goddard. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So it needs to be an inner change, your inner dialogue, your inner conversation. It has to be changed. Your expectancy determines the outcome. In Hindi scriptures, we know it said yad bhavam tad bhavati. As you feel, so is your that's what you create in your life. As you feel, you create. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. Yatha drishti tatha srishti. Whatever is your observation, whatever is your inner observation, in terms of inner conversation, your inner feelings, inner thoughts, whatever yatha drishti tatha srishti. So is your world. Whatever is you objectively express, you impress, on your subconscious mind through the means of your feeling is what is expressed in the outward world in the means of through the means of the reality. That becomes your world objectified. That becomes your frozen world. A man is according to the manner in which you look at him. A man is according to the manner in which you look at him. All other individual, all the other individuals' expression of them towards you are only the self revelations of your own inner speech. The way the other persons relate to you or expresses to you, or your relationship to you, is only a reflection of your own self, of your own inner imagination, of your own inner speech, of your own inner feelings. That's why, friends, use your imagination and transform and channel this immense creative energies of your inner speech from the mental and emotional plane to the physical plane, right? So again, I'll repeat: use your imagination and transform and channel that the immense creative energies which you have in you, the immense creative positive energies which you have in you, through the means of your inner speech, which is coming from the mental and emotional plane. In that, and once you transform it, that's how you change your physical plane. You change your physical reality. And the more you experiment with yourself, the more you start enjoying it. It's such a joyful process, and the results are so fast, it's so instantaneous. And as long as you can, if you can hold those similar thoughts in that direction, you will see the results happening in 1 day, in 2 days, in 5 days, in 10 days, and you will be so motivated by the results. So it's a really adventurous, it's really a thrilling journey. So it's all you need is to extend your senses, extend your inner senses. Look and imagine that you're seeing what you want to see. Most of the time, we are focused on what the current reality is. But what I'm telling you is to see what you want to see, not what it is, not what it is, but what ought to be, not what it is, but what ought to be, right? So when you see so you need to see what you want to see. You need to hear what you want to hear. You are touching what you want to touch, and all this is happening in your inner senses, in your inner mind, in your inner imagination, in your inner visualization, in your inner imagery. You become intensely aware of doing and giving all your imaginary states all the tones and feeling of reality, right? So in your inner, because your imagination has no limitation of the three-dimensional reality. When your eyes are open, when you're looking outside, you are limited to this three-dimensional reality. What only what you can, your limitation with time and space. But sitting in Bombay, the moment I close my eyes, I can travel to New York. I can travel 10,000 miles apart. In my mind, I can see and touch and feel anything what I want to see in my world. So there, through the means of an imagination, I can transcend time and space. I can go into the future, what I want to see in my life. So that's how I transcend my future also. I bring it into my present moment because I'm feeling it in the present moment now. That's why Einstein said, time and space are not the modes in which we live, but the mode in which we think, right? Time and space are not the modes in which we live, but the mode in which we think. So through our thinking, through the means of our thinking, we can transcend time and space. Through the means of our thinking, through our imagination, and giving expression with our inner speech, we can transform whatever our reality is. And the more so again I'll repeat, extend your senses, look and imagine that you are seeing what you want to see, that you are hearing what you want to hear, that you are touching what you want to touch, and become intensely aware of doing. Again, I'm using the word intensely. The more intense you see it with all your senses, feel it with all your senses, the more intense is your reality in your present moment. And you will give the more vivid you give this as your you see it as your imagination, and give the tones and feelings of the reality. The more the faster and the more stronger you draw that reality into your life. And keep on doing this until you arouse within yourself the mood of accomplishment and the feeling of relief. You can't just do once and forget it. It has, unless it arouses within yourself the mood of that accomplishment and the feeling of relief and the relaxation and the freedom of that what you want to achieve, you have to do it. And the more you imagine it like that, the more it gives you true senses. With more of practice, you'll become expert at this, right? So, and then you'll draw that reality into your life. The more you'll see more evidence of that coming into your life. Your imaginal acts become facts. I'll repeat. Your imaginal acts become facts. The true signs of intelligence is not, Einstein said, the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Because with knowledge you are more aware of the three-dimensional reality. But with imagination, you can transcend time and space, and you can move beyond. There is no limitation. There is no boundaries. There is no. You're not cast upon by the three-dimensional reality, or by your five senses. By your five senses, with imagination, you can move beyond. You can go wherever you want, whenever you want, and for however long you want, through your imagination. And that's why Einstein said imagination is more important than the knowledge. So through the bold and active use of imagination, you can stretch out your hand. Through the bold and the active use of imagination, you can, in your imagination, you can stretch out your hand, even and touch a friend, even if he's 1,000 miles away, and function beyond your fleshly limitations. If you want to meet that person, even if the person is sitting in New York and you are in Mumbai, you can meet that person, right, through your imagination. You can hug that person, you can go out with that person, you can talk to that person. You can imagine that person talking to you and responding to your thoughts and emotions. And then you can further respond to that. You can have a full mental conversation with all your senses, through the means of through the means of your imagination and your inner conversation. So friends, this is the two unique gift we have as a mankind, as human beings. Our mind, which you can use in form of imagination, and our speech in form of our inner speech. So practice your inner speech as a speech of your fulfilled desire. Practice your inner speech. Again, I'll repeat, practice your inner speech as a speech of your fulfilled desire. It does not matter if at present moment the external facts deny the truth of your assumption. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether it is right or wrong as per the current fact. If you persist in your assumption, it will become the fact. If you assume it to be right, the current fact will further be right. But if you assume what your future, what you want to, whatever is your fulfilled desire, whatever is the wish you want to accomplish, if you assume that to be right, it will become the fact. The mind always behaves according to the assumption with which it starts. So assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled in the faith that the assumption will find its expression through you. And that's the law. If you assume the feeling and have faith, if you assume the feeling of your wishes fulfilled and have faith that it will find its expression, then it will be manifested. It will be manifested through you. So conceive yourself to be the one you want to be and remain faithful to that conception. Again, I'll repeat. Conceive yourself to be the one you want to be and remain faithful to that conception. Life here is only a training ground for the image making and for your inner conversation. Because through your imagination and through your inner conversation, you evoke those feelings and you sow it into your subconscious mind, and that's how you reap into your reality. Right? What you feel about, you bring about. When things change inside you, things change around you. So the greatest secret of success is a controlled inner conversation and the inner imagination from the premises of the fulfilled desire. If you already feel as if your desires are fulfilled and imagine and have the inner conversation, then that is the greatest secret of success. So all you need, teach your body emotionally how the future is going to feel like and converse like and see it and converse it in your mind. Then you and God are one. There's no difference between you and a God, right? So we are all creators. We are all co-creators. That's why God is co-creating, is creating in the direction of what He really desires. But we are not able to create in the direction of what we desire. But the moment we develop this expertise, to control our imagination and our inner conversation, we are no different than God. We awaken the sleeping Buddha within ourselves. We awaken the giant within. We awaken the Jesus in you. So, so the great secret of success is controlled inner conversation from the premises of the fulfilled desire. Every inner words you say is a blueprint that your mind and the body works to make it real. So all you need is to drop your old self and give up your former conversation. Anytime you are going through these old inner conversations, these limited inner conversations, just remind yourself, this is my old self, this is my old me. This is the old man. This is not my new me. This is not resonating with the new me. And change it. Change your inner conversation in the direction of your new you, in the direction of your wishes fulfilled, in the direction of your new desires. So give up your former conversation, because what you're not changing, you're actually choosing. What you're not changing, you're actually choosing. So that's why change your mental diet. Change your mental diet, change what you're feeding through your inner conversation, through the news, through the information that you feed in your mind. Feed only loving, noble thoughts, because every one of us is the sum total of our own thoughts and feelings. Every one of us is nothing but the sum total of our own thoughts and feelings. So denying the evidence of the senses, denying the evidence of the current senses or of the truth of the current three-dimensional reality or of your present reality, denying the evidence of this and appropriating the feeling of the wishes fulfilled is the way to the realization of a desire. Right? So it's a choice whether you want your condition to change your emotion, or whether you want to change your emotion so that it can change your condition. So it can be both worked, vice and versa. Both are correlated. It's a law of inverse proportion. So both works. But the power, your true power is when you don't depend on the condition to change your emotion. The same way, the condition can change your emotion. In the same way, inversely, when you change your emotion, you can change the condition. Is the cause either you can change the cause and then you can change the effect, or you can change the effect to eventually change the cause. So this is the law of inverse proportion, and it is all correlated. So that's how we have the power. If we believe, if we change the final outcome, if we see the final outcome as true, then you can change the way how the final outcome is achieved will be changed, right? So every one of us is the sum total of our own thoughts and feelings. So turn from appearances, turn from what you are currently, what is your current appearances. Turn from appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours, as if you already are the one you wish to be. So turn from the appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours, as if you already are that you wish to be. The Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within me." The kingdom of heaven is within me. So that's so true, sir, friend. The kingdom is heaven is within us. We don't have to look for God outside. The kingdom of heaven is within us. Our source is the best resource. All we need to turn in. And through the help of meditation and awareness, we can transcend our inner conversation, our inner feelings. And when things change inside you, things change around you. So friends, having said that, let me end this chapter. I would like to admit that it is easier to practice, it is easier to teach than to really practice. As the more I learned about this, I found there was so much of a gap between what I was trying to teach and what I was trying to practice. And there is still so much gap. So it's not easy to do, even though you know what to do. So sometimes you just need practice, practice, and practice. I can teach 200 people what it is good to be done, then to be even one of the 200 people to follow my own teachings. Someone wrote, if to do were as easy what we know as good to be. So yes, of course, it's not easy, but with practice and practice, it is not difficult also. All you need is practice. If whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So practice. So once we have this knowledge, once we have this understanding, what we need is to apply it in our life. Definitely, it's easier to teach than to follow our own instructions. But we need to learn to practice what we preach, right? Because practice has to be a natural shadow of understanding. So friends, I don't think it is not possible. We know we all have negative thoughts. We all have negative inner speech, inner dialogue going on. But just the moment you become aware, start practicing it, because now you have the knowledge how it turns into reality. And you're not going to master the rest of your life in a day. You're not going to master the rest of the life in a day. So just master the day and keep repeating every day, right? So just master the day and keep repeating every day. Mastery of self-control of your thought and feeling is your highest achievement. Mastery of self-control of your thought and feeling is your highest achievement. So Rumi, I'll end by Rumi's this chapter by what Rumi said. Rumi said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. But today I'm wise, so I want to change myself.